Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Alright, I want to give double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to those that's in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, laboring in this truth and sincerity, and living this truth to the best of your ability. Through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, we're here with a sit down. We want to address this basic topic, but going into the brothers just coming in, and also a refresher to brothers already in the faith about who's your real family in this truth. Because despite how this world thinks is contrary to what the Bible speaks about, and in these times to come, these type of topics need to be heavily in brothers' minds. As the scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, but also, who's your real family? That's something that's going to keep you stable in these times to come. All right, so give me that Matthew 12 and 46.
Matthew 12, verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without.
Okay, and this is talking about the Lord, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahweh Shai. Continue.
Desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him and told him, who is my mother, and who is my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
And that's the mentality that the Lord had. How the Apostle Paul also spoke of, be ye followers of me as I am a follower of the anointed. The word ignorantly calls Christ Yahweh Shai once again. The way that we have to keep our mindset in this truth is when it comes to family, who is our family? Because we're not getting sidetracked or dumbfounded as far as your physical, biological mother or your biological father and mother, and your seeds. Nah, we take heed of that. Even in the law, it speaks about honor your father and your mother. But the thing is, when it comes to the work of the Lord, when it comes to serving Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, for you brothers coming into this thing, you also got to keep in mind, okay, you follow the Lord to the best of your ability, but what holds precedence? Where's your priority going to be at? And that's serving the Most High with all your mind, body, soul, spirit, and loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And what you're going to learn about your neighbor and your family and your friends and associates are those that's laboring in the faith, just like how the Lord spoke about. One of his disciples, one of his followers, letting him know that, his mother and his brethren, because the Lord actually had a physical, biological mother, like how he had a biological father. They did have sex to create the Lord. You see, Joseph and Mary did have sex to create the Lord. He also had brothers. Okay, the scriptures speak about one of his brothers that was in the faith, James. You see, but the thing is, when it came to literally who his brothers were, who his true family was, read the scripture again. 12 and 46.
Matthew 12, 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee.
While the Lord was teaching, continue.
But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who is my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
So it goes into who's following the Lord, who's serving the Lord. Get Matthew 10 and 34. Because something that you're going to learn is when you come into this faith, you want to tell everybody, you want to bring forth this gospel, this good news onto your friends, your family and whatnot, but it's not made for everybody, especially those in the household. This thing goes by election, and if your family, the thing you got to keep in mind, if your family or your friends ain't part of the elect, the Lord hasn't chosen them to be delivered, then there ain't no hope for them on this side. You see? So, you can get that in Matthew 10 and 34.
Matthew 10 and 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
And what does a sword do? A sword kills. This is the one you ignorantly call, or the world ignorantly calls Jesus, Yahweh Shai, once again speaking. You see, everyone thinks that he's coming back to bring everybody the Catholicism, the Christianity, church mentality. Anybody can be saved. You know, the Lord's going to come back to bring a smile on your face. The only ones that's going to be smiling that time is the elect that's going to be delivered.
Right.
The brothers serving in spirit and in truth and sincerity. Lord willing, we part of that.
The 144,000.
Yep, the 144. Yep, you got it. You know, the 144,000, the servants of the Lord.
Right.
Okay. And then the 1/3, you know, men, women, and children, that's going to be delivered
Also
according to election. Yep, which go into the category of the 1/3 as far as the friends, you know, the helps, you know, the wives of the prophets, the children of the prophets. You see, that's where that comes into play. But it all goes according to this work. You know, the way this world sees it as the Lord, you know, they think of this white man, you know, long stringy hair, who loves everybody. But out of the Lord's own mouth, he told you opposite than what these churches are teaching.
Right.
Read it again.
Matthew 10:34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
You see? But a sword, a killing instrument. Because when the Lord comes back, he's coming back to bring destruction. Continue.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
You see? So when the Lord comes back, he's coming back to set a variance, meaning set division. Not everyone's going to be included, okay? This isn't for everybody or the heathen nations, okay? This is only for the nation of Israel, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians. And really only for the elect of you, the chosen of the chosen. You see? Because even when it comes to your own household, it's going to happen to those that are called to be saved, to be delivered, eclectic, meaning the election, the chosen, versus 2/3, the ones that are not part of the election, that are not going to receive mercy or grace on this side. And it very well be, read it again, from verse 30. Yep, read it from verse 35.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother.
So if your father is not right on this side, you're going to be set at variance. You're talking about the kingdom of heaven, which starts first and foremost with His word, in spirit and in truth. You know, talk about the elders of Great Millstone on down, brothers affiliated and non-affiliated, but teaching in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, in spirit and in truth, according to the truth. Okay, in faith. You come speaking about the law, you're not supposed to be eating pork or shrimp, crab, lobster, the dietary law. If your father ain't with that, that's a clear indication that he may very well not be of the elect. And when the spirit of Yahweh Shah comes upon brothers to do this work and make them changes in their lifestyle, as the Lord spoke of in Matthew's the 18th chapter, be reborn as a child all over again in the spirit, you making those changes in your lifestyle, your parents, your loved ones, your wife, your children may not be with it. You know, your grandma, grandpa, cousins, aunties, uncles. The Spirit of the Lord, that's what's going to set the separation first. And then physically, when all hell breaks loose, okay, when everyone's contending for the faith of the fold, serving the Lord. And then finally, physically, when the Lord comes back to bring the deliverance with the chariots, with this world ignorantly calls UFOs. Okay, read it again.
Right. Verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother.
Okay, so from the father to the son, they're going to be separated. Even the daughter to the mother, they're going to be separated. Especially when it comes to these females. There's going to be a huge separation in who's chosen to be delivered and who's slated for destruction. Okay, continue.
Right. And the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Continue.
And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Okay, so even if it's not your immediate family, the daughter-in-law, mother-in-law, okay, your wife's mother, okay, guess what? When it comes to the closest of kin, the scripture just said, a man's foe shall be they of his own household. You see, because those are the people that you're looking for sanctuary, especially your wife. But in this society, everything is turned upside down, as the scripture says. I shall create a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. That's all this woman worship is happening all over the earth. Especially when you got these guys calling themselves black conscious New Covenant Egyptology movement or whatever, talking about the black woman as God, that female worship, that woman exaltation, putting the woman above the household, putting the woman as God, as your true essence, as far as the one you look to for deliverance. Nah, man, that's not the way the scriptures is set up. Because when it comes down to all hell breaking loose and comes down to the come down, the real test of faith, the people that you're going to notice that's going to be at odds with you are the ones that's in your own roof, so to speak. When it comes time, especially to serve the Lord, do this work, the ones that's going to complain to you the most is your family. Especially when it comes to your woman. Read that verse again.
Good. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Continue.
He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
You see? Yeah, you're supposed to honor your father and your mother, but if you love your father and your mother more than the Lord said you're not worthy of him. Because you're going to be willing to listen to what they have to say more than thus saith the Bible, thus saith the scriptures, thus saith Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shah. Continue.
Right. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
You see? Even to your children. Because keep in mind, there's no such thing as free will. As far as who your father and your mother are, the Most High is the one that chose those vessels to bring you forth. And as far as the seeds that come forth from your loins to the men we speaking, and some of you so-called faithful sisters that follow, to the women that you give birth to, it's the Most High that puts that spirit in you to bring forth those children. Okay? For them seeds to come through from your loins to the men, the Most High is the one that controlled those spirits to come through. And as far as you women giving birth, it's the same thing. Okay? So if you're going, as the scriptures say, worship the creature more than the creator, Yahweh Shah said it best, you're not worthy of him. Because when it comes down to all hell breaking loose and your faith being tested, a lot of people are going to forsake the Lord because of this so-called family.
Yeah.
You see? When it comes... Yeah, you got it.
Now I was going to say, brothers in this thing, brothers got to be careful not to get too close to your family, Don't get too close to your family, man, Because they might not make it, the Lord's will, it all comes down to if the Lord want them to make it, So, you gotta love the Most High more than your family, you know what I mean? So, brothers in this thing, just gotta, you can't get too close to your family to where when all hell breaks loose, you're gonna forsake the Most High, At the end of the day, the Most High want them to make it, they're going to make it. If they're not going to make it, they're not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to say on that.
Yeah, and that's a heavy point that hits home. Because it starts off with doing this work, getting yourself right, repenting, asking for forgiveness for your ignorance, and not knowing how you was making the Most High angry with you. Not knowing that you was transgressing these laws, statutes, commandments, that you're supposed to keep them to the best of your ability, but ultimately you asking the Most High for forgiveness so he can have mercy upon you, so you don't get destroyed with the world. That starts with you first. But the thing is, that's with you. That's what you have control over, so to speak. Your family, like the brother brought out through the Spirit, they may not make it on this side. And that's going to be a huge faith tester right there. Because, it's one thing to say that you not going to, worship these pagan holidays with Thanksgiving and Christmas, but your family, so in the world, growing up, that's all they know, That's all they know.
That's right.
So you call yourselves not being at the dinner table for Thanksgiving, they're going to look at you funny. And if you're talking about we're not going to have a tree this year for Christmas, they're going to look at you funny. Because the people in the world, that's what they're doing.
That's right, bro.
And when they talk, so-called family, friends, or relatives talking about what you getting your kids for Christmas, we don't celebrate Christmas. They look at you like you got 10 heads on your shoulders. Especially the kids. Of course you want to do right by you want to do right for your household, do right to your wife, do right for your children. But the thing is, like the brother brought out, Everything has its priority. You know, if you look at them higher than how you esteem the Most High, you ass backwards, man. That's not someone playing with a full deck. You know.